Hey guys, this is Odd1 Gaming. This is going to be another King Arthur Legends Rise video. In today's video, I want to make a spotlight video on the #1 damage dealer in the game, at least as of today, right, 21st of January, and that's going to be Bedivere. Now, what I want to do today is obviously go over his kit, what builds you should do, what you should prioritize, Shivery, skill ups, all of that cool stuff. So if you're somebody that's just maybe recently got Bedivere and you want to see what's the best use on him, just keep an eye out because I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about him. Now, before I jump in the video, there's just want to mention there's a link in the description and pinned comment of this video that you can click and you can support me as a content creator. It costs you guys absolutely nothing and it helps me a ton. At the same time, by supporting me as a content creator, you're going to get free coupons every single month, at least one, if not two, if not more, as they're gonna give us. That's gonna give you more gold, stamina, summons, and lots of cool stuff. So definitely consider supporting me. Now let's jump into the video and let's look at why Bedivere is actually the #1 damage dealer in the game. Now, there's obviously some other ones like Shivery that can be pretty decent. There's like some other ones like, for example, Cormac with the Frost Relic. That's really powerful as an AoE damage dealer. But at least specifically for single target, and he's kind of like a pseudo AoE damage dealer, Bedivere is still the best, right? Now, let me show you exactly why he's so good. Let's start with his passive. So, the first passive, dominate position. When attacking, attacks one time hitting 2 random enemies, damage done 110% attack. This attack ignores 20% of defense. So even though this multiplier is not extremely high, the fact that it also ignores defense makes him really powerful. Now this one as a base is only 10%, but if you get him Shivery 1, it goes up to 20%. So pretty much every 3 turns, he's gonna get that extra damage with this passive, and it kind of turns into a pseudo, like I mentioned, pseudo AoE damage dealer. Now the cool thing is, this one actually goes hand in hand with the second passive that says the following. It's on a 1-turn cooldown, so pretty much you have to take a turn before you can proc again. 100% to trigger upon critical strike, decreases your passive cooldowns by 1 turn, gain pierce increase 1 for 1 turn. Again, the pierce increase is only added with Shivery 2. This one pretty much means you're going to ignore more defense, right? The having that pierce up. So you're definitely going to want to skill up these 2 passives. And then the third one says, when using skill 3, triggers ability switch, you transfer pretty much debuffs into critical strike damage increase and also charges +2 vigor. This one's not as important, honestly, at least for the way that I've used him and that I've seen him being used. You don't necessarily care about this one. You care about the first 2 passives. And I guess, let me tell you one little trick. If you want to specifically skill up these 2 passives, do not max level them. Because if you max level it, when you go to skill up, it can pop, it can jump on whichever one of these 3. However, if you don't have them unlocked, so let's say I reset him and he's level 1, he only has the first passive unlocked. Then you level those up, and then afterwards, when you go and level him up, I think is to, or advance him to 3-star, you're gonna unlock the second passive. Then you skill up the second passive, and then you can max him out. So definitely keep that in mind. Now, when it comes to relics, the cool thing about Bedivere is that his #1 relic is actually the base one, the Frost Relic. And the best skill for him is the second skill. It gives him critical rate increase 2, which gives him 40% critical rate, if I'm not mistaken. Then it attacks one enemy, deals 140% attack, plus if it crits, it deals another 168% attack. So this one pretty much does like 300% attack, plus coincide that with the passive, he's gonna do a ton of damage, right? So he's just gonna be obscene. And the cool thing is, the fact that he has his best damage being on the second skill means it's gonna be easier when it comes to generating vigor for your team, right? It's easier to have 2 vigor generated when he gets a turn than having 3 vigor. Because the third one, it does like AoE damage 2 times 140%. This can be pretty decent, but it's not the best, right? Like if we compare this, it's fully skilled up, right? It's going to be 154, 168% AoE attack and ignores 5% defense, right? So let's say 170. That's the damage he can do with this, plus a little bit of passive. If we compare that to somebody like a Cormac that actually does 366% AoE damage, plus the other passives, it's not as good, right? So that third skill is not as good. However, the second one, again, it's extremely powerful. You can pretty much destroy targets with this one. So in any fight, you're just going to use his second and his first skill, right? This is all you're going to do. The other ones, again, they don't do as powerful damage. They're not going to be as good as this one. I guess with the Flame Relic, he would do a little bit more damage, but it's still single target, so it's not the best. Same thing for the Storm one. Honestly, I've not seen any people say, like, yes, go ahead and build him with the other relics. I would say if you get the other relics, don't bother investing, at least as of now. Just focus using his Frost one because this one is his best. Now, when it comes to Shiveries, you kind of want to get him Shivery 1, for more ignore defense on the first passive, Shivery 2 to give him the pierce increase. Then if you have Shivery 3 and Shivery 4, then you can argue that maybe the third skill could be useful. However, I would not, you know, prioritize using legendary memory stones on him for this. Then if we go over the other ones, you see more attack, and then the Shivery 8, after an ally attacks, if this hero has critical damage increase, deals damage based on attack to all enemies. Now, the tricky thing is he doesn't get crit damage increase from all of his skills. He only gets them if he has the third skill used, and then he has a debuff and converts that, so it's a little bit more complicated. I would honestly say, don't worry about going crazy on him with the legendary memory stones. Keep for other supports. Just get him to Shivery 2 and you should be just fine. Now, let me show you pretty much where you can use him, right? I use him in every single area of the game. If we talk about Master of Death, he's my main damage dealer. He also brings a lead, as you can see over here, increases critical strike damage by 20% in all battles, which means he's obviously gonna do a ton more damage. Then, if we look at the Relic one, the Master Apocalypse, he's in this team. If we think about Forbidden Dungeon, he's in my teams there. Then if you go Equipment Dungeon, even though, like on this one, he's a strong affinity, obviously he's going to be the main damage dealer. Apollo, I barely do it, but he would be in this team, of course. Then if we look at Fortress of Arceus, even though he's wrong element, I still use him. That Frost Relic is so powerful, it just does obscene amounts of damage. It's so good, I'm still using him in this fight. Then if we look at the power-up dungeons, Plane of Beasts, he's obviously in the team. He doesn't bring multi-hits, but that's where you get Tristan and Kay. He just brings that crazy amount of damage to kill the boss. If you look at Frozen Plains, I could use him. I still need to build a team. I'm just using a dot team. Obviously, he would work in here with the Frost one. He would be neutral element, and that would be good. And then, honestly, again, even against Shrine of Storms, right? You know what? Let me just run this quickly so you see this team in action, so you see a little bit his damage. So again, even though against Tarask he is the wrong element, I'm still using him. As long as he can sustain the first hit, this team I can just pretty much defeat the boss and I have no issues. He brings that good amount of damage. I mean, look at that. He starts with the second skill, then he does those hits randomly. Obviously, he can land again on the boss, but he just does them at random. But look at how much damage he does, right? Again, keep in mind he does 15% less damage because he has the Frost Relic and Taraski's Storm, but still, he does, look at that damage. He's just, you know, there's a reason why he is the #1 damage dealer in the game, and obviously, if you get him, you would 100% build him, right? I don't think, maybe I'm wrong, maybe something changed, but there's nobody that can out damage him. The only one that maybe comes close to him or maybe surpasses him by a little bit but requires a lot more of the of setup is Iwiret, right? She has a quirky kit where if there's Mark out there, she can do more damage and stuff like that, but it's a lot harder to be able to bring Iwiret and then bring somebody else that does Mark, whereas Bedivere, just on his own, he just comes in there, slams the boss, slams any area of the game, destroys even in arena, and then you're good to go. So, yeah, pretty much that's why he is the best. Look at this, 1 minute 11 seconds. I'm gonna make a video on this one of the next days, right? When we're gonna have some more time, because there's going to be so many updates happening, so it might be a bit tricky. Now, what type of build should you get on him? Okay, so let's look at the equipment. When we're talking about the equipment, number one, let's talk about the keepsake, right? #1 priority is going to be strife set, right? This is the best set that you're going to get on any damage dealer in the game, if you can get it, of course. So the way that I built him was with flat attack on the belt. You cannot get attack %, so this is the best. Then hit accuracy, because certain higher level stages, you're going to miss the hits, so hit accuracy is going to be the best for you to get over here. Obviously, substats, you're going to look for crit rate, crit damage, attack percent, and maybe some attack speed, but that's last in order. And then when we're talking about the banner, you want Pierce, because again, what Pierce does, let me exactly show you. If you go over here, it shows you what Pierce does. So Pierce, it says, upon attacking, deals damage as if the target's defense stat decreases by an amount equal to the attacker's Pierce stat. So pretty much it's kind of like inbuilt 14% extra ignore defense. That's why Pierce is so good. So the reason why Strife is so good on damage dealer is if he does kill a target, he gains attack increase for the rest of the battle. Also, he charges his attack gauge by 100% and he heals himself, drains a percentage of damage dealt to heal, right? What this means with the charge attack gauge is if you kill something, he goes again, right? Then you have a chance to pretty much kill something else, combine that with his two amazing passives, you're just gonna destroy everything in the game. Now, when it comes to gear sets, there's there's certain variations, but the number one, obviously, if you can get on him, would be going with the damage set, right? What is it? Let me see. I don't think I have any of it forged. Damage set, right? I don't have anything, as you can see. Oh yeah, I do actually have a few pieces. The reason why this one's good, it gives you critical strike damage increase. You want to get him as much crit damage as you can with attack, and then with certain certain amount of critical rate, which should be not more than 60%. I've even heard people say 20% works just fine. I'm still gonna suggest a bit higher. So the best sets would be for him, like if you can get 3 damage sets. If not, you can go ahead and give, like I have, for example, right now, you can go with attack and critical. If you don't need a critical, obviously just go with attack and a damage set, or you can go attack and you can go also with a counter, because the counter set on him works really well with his 4 skill, because every time he does his 4 skill, he has a chance to put critical rate increase for, critical rate increase 1, let me just see, critical rate increase 2 for 1 turn, which again gives him 40% extra crit rate. So this is kind of the way that you want to build him. You can see my total stats on him, 5.2k attack, really low attack speed, I don't really care about it, 55% crit rate, 42% crit damage, and then the hit accuracy, sorry, the Pierce I showed you, yes, let me show you over here again. So Pierce, he has 14.28 and hit accuracy is 30%. Now, when it comes to the stats over here, you're going to want attack percent. Over here, attack percent, or I think you can get crit damage as well, right? I guess crit damage would be ideal if you can get it in the right sets, because obviously you're going to get, more crit damage means more damage overall. Again, with the right substats of crit rate, attack percent, and attack speed if you can get. But yeah, again, attack here, and obviously here they're all flat stats, so whatever you have with the best substats that you can get. But I guess that pretty much covers it, right? That pretty much is my Bedivere spotlight, right? There's a reason why he is the #1 damage dealer in the game, and I did want to make a video on him. So if people ask me how should they build him, well, I explained everything here, and I hope it was helpful, right? If this video was helpful, please consider liking it, subscribing to the channel to see when I upload next. Again, don't forget about the link in the description and pinned comment of this video that you can click and support me as a content creator. Costs you nothing, helps you a ton, and yeah, I guess I'm gonna see you on the next one. Peace, love, take care, everyone. Bye, guys.
Fight with honor. Vanquish the wicked, and you may prove worthy of your legacy.